Hey everybody, Frank Zanca here, 18-year veteran in the film and television industry. Just moved to Atlanta, and we're going to talk about whether these comics are good for movie or television shows for the future. Find out if they're going to get optioned, going to get made, etc. Here's my take on the present stories. Watch right now. All right, we're back for another episode. I think this is episode number 8 of Will They Make Good Movies and Television Shows? The present comic book runs. You think they're going to get picked up? You think they're going to get made? You think they're going to get pieces cut out of them and then made into movies in the future? Let's hear my take on them. So we're going to start with World's Finest, number 18 by Mark Waid. This is a brand new little arc. I think it's a little arc waiting for the bigger arc to come. But this is Batman and Superman meeting for the first time, which has been told many times over. It's been told in movies, it's been told in animation, and it's been told at least 6 times in comics. However, there's a new take on it, and I like new takes, where the Riddler has put out and I like the way Mark Waid was able to take the two worlds of Batman and Superman and kind of mesh them together so they all kind of made sense. So the Riddler puts out a riddle, however, instead of it being in English, it's in Kryptonian. Really good idea there. So Batman cannot figure it out. And, of course, Clark hears about it in Metropolis and zooms back over to Gotham. And, of course, he can't figure out the riddle, but Batman can. So once he translates it, Batman figures it out. And in the meantime, Superman opens the can of worms, says, well, who are you beneath the mask? I'm not going to look through my X-ray vision at you, but you need to tell me who you are. And Batman's like, yeah, you first, man. So we have some verbal sparring going on, and Batman says, look, your accent's from Kansas, I've been following your flight plans and things to that effect, and you don't work Superman during the day for the most part, which means you have a day job. So, he's all piecing this together, and he's telling him, and Superman's like, all right, I'm not talking about this anymore. So when they figure out what the riddle is, then they have to search for the Riddler. But in the meantime, Batman invites, or Bruce Wayne invites Clark Kent to interview him because people are disappearing, and Alfred just disappeared. I mean, as he was talking to him, he just disappeared. So he already figured out that he was Superman, so he pulls Clark into his house pretty much and tells him, yeah, you're Superman. He's like, nah, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't know. I don't know who the Superman is you're talking about. It ain't me. And he's like, yeah, whatever. So he opens up the door through the clock to go into the Batcave, and he says, yeah, I'm Batman. So he's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm Superman. So then they finally find the Riddler because they have another clue, another riddle to figure out, and they end up walking into a trap for the most part. And we have a Kryptonian that knocks Superman clean across the country, and Batman is now stuck in the Phantom Zone. So really, as far as I'm concerned, really good stuff. We get to see Perry White, we get to see Jimmy Olsen, and the artwork here is not Dan Mora, who does the original, most of the stuff here, but it's really good nonetheless. The coloring is good. It's very bright and vibrant, which is what you want out of these characters. We have like an old style Batman with like the black cowl. Really good stuff. We have a little bit of a fight with another character, but here's where they go to into the Batcave, and he's like, "Hey, yeah, I'm Bruce Wayne." He's like, "Yeah, you're Superman." Good stuff. And let me find the big punch. Okay, so here's them going into that lair, into the trap, and here's Batman basically getting disappeared, and then we got the punch coming at Superman at the bottom there. And then we have this big punch. Oh, let me get my hand out of the way. Yeah. So that's a pretty good splash page as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, and here's that Kryptonian and Batman stuck in the Phantom Zone. So would it make a good film or television show? This is what they should have done instead of Batman vs Superman. This is what they should have done right here. This is great. It really delves into both of those characters and does some really good character work with them where we care about both of them. Nobody's killing people right and left like in Snyder's verse, where he lands the Batmobile right on top of people and kills them. That's just not Batman. So this is more them. Batman's doing the detective work. Superman's a bit of the heavy, and even though he's he half figures things out, he can't take it to the next level like Batman can. So it's really good stuff. So let's go into Marvel because I only have one DC book because we're still have that stupid Night Terrors thing going on, and it looks like Marvel raised their prices on everything. I do not understand. So we have Iron Man Annual. I'm not going to talk about this one too much because the only reason I bought it was because Storm was in it, and I'm a big fan of Storm. And then we have this battle, but it's this chaos contest of chaos thing. It's just taking two characters that wouldn't normally fight and having them fight for no reason whatsoever. They both hear T'Challa, and they're going to the same place. And Iron Man's like, "Yeah, T'Challa just spoke to me." He's like, "He spoke to me too," Storm says. He's like, "Well, he spoke to me first." And if you look at the word balloons, he's lying. But there's nothing to this book besides big fight scenes. There's literally nothing to this book whatsoever. And it was good to see Tony again and stuff like that. But and of course they see each other, which we did with Superman and Wonder Woman a long time ago. So this is nothing new where they see each other as villains. So they're fighting each other because they see each other as villains. And Kat comes in, who was dating Tony at one time. And again, she's a apparition. And the artwork is just okay. It's nothing great, but there's Storm kicking some booty. So some of the splash stuff is pretty decent, but there's just nothing to it. There's just nothing to this book. So this will make a good film or television show. No, there's nothing here. And as far as I've heard, all the Contest of Champions stuff there, Contest of Chaos, there's just nothing to any of them. So that'll be a big no, and I'm just going to move on from that one pretty quickly. All right, so we got Darth Vader. And again, if anybody could tell me why I paid $5 for a 20-page book when all the independents is still $3.99, I have no idea. They need to start selling some ads. I don't know why they stopped selling ads in these things because they still have ads in them, but the ads are for, their own stuff. Start selling ads so we can lower the price, guys. Hire a friggin' sales team. I don't know. The artwork in here is okay. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this one either because this is the continuation of Dark Droids, and the whole Dark Droids thing is just not working as far as the story is concerned. And you have Vader. The Executor is getting attacked. So Vader's got this sword and staff that he got from Afra that he helped track down. But who wants to see Vader with a sword and a staff without having a lightsaber? It doesn't make any sense. And I know it's supposed to be because this controls his power, but it's, when he's testing out power on the droids and killing them and stuff to that effect, it's just, here to show you. Here's all the Dark Droid stuff, so it's in Bounty Hunters and Dr. Aphra and Star Wars. Who cares? It's not a good event. We have, like I said, the artwork's decent, but it's it is what it is. So, again, it was Vader, opening the door and all that stuff, and that's pretty good work. But there's just nothing here. It's just nothing here. If you just get it just for the spectacle, there's no artwork on that. No dialogue on any of this stuff either. So it's just one big thing. And then the only thing kind of hitting you in is the fact that they realize that the Executor is taken over by the the droids, whatever this AI is that's controlling them. They just try to destroy it with Vader still on board, and Vader can't die, so whatever. Will it make a good film or television show? No, just stay away from that whole Dark Droids thing. It doesn't work in the least. Like iRobot did it really well, but for some reason this just comes off just cartoony. So, all right, moving on to Daredevil. So Daredevil, this is the end of Chip Zdarsky's run. So this story continues the fact that Elektra and Daredevil took over the Fist, I believe. And Punisher took over the Hand. And the Hand and the Fist fought each other. And then, the Foot Clan from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came in. And then we had the Torso Clan. I'm like, come on, man. Come on. All right, I'm joking, of course. So there is no Torso Clan. There is a Foot Clan. I'm not even kidding about that, because when they created Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they took stuff from Daredevil and they created the Foot from the Hand. So we have Hand, Foot, and Fist. The Headbutt Clan. So in the last issue, Chip Zdarsky decided to take again a street level character and put him into hell to bring back Foggy and some bunch of other friends out of hell, but he got stuck in hell. I think he got his arm cut off or whatever else too, and nobody's heard from him for 6 months. So Elektra has taken over. If I remember which way to go on here, Elektra has taken over the mantle of Daredevil. And, she has obviously had the costume for a little bit now. And Foggy meets with Reed Richards and gives him, I guess, one of Daredevil's or Matt's chess games. And he says, "Oh, I appreciate it, blah, 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 and we're all going to miss him, and blah, blah, blah." And they're starting to see people that look like him and saying, "Oh, it's not him." Okay. And Elektra's always been a badass, but Elektra is now, the lead of the book, at least for the last issue here. And then she sees somebody go into a church. So she follows him in there, and she realizes that it's Matt. But Matt has no recollection of her or his old life or anything, so she basically just talks to him as if he's a stranger, and then, she leaves. And that's pretty much the end. So I have multitude of questions about how this works. I don't understand it. So he's been gone for 6 months. He just shows back up uh, at this thing, and then he goes to fight anyway. He goes into this alley because he hears people fighting in there. So yeah, so we end this run with an oversized issue again, $5, with Daredevil Matt Murdock has come back from hell apparently without his memories, but somehow went through all of his clergy training in 6 months and became a priest. What? I don't think that's how it works, man. So you have no ID, right? Because you don't know who you are. You just appear out of nowhere, and you're like, yeah, I'm just going to become a priest. I mean, I can see him getting taken in by the church, but to actually become a priest in 6 months with no ID, no past, no background check, no nothing. Yeah, major letdown on this issue. And it will make a good... some of the stuff with the hand and the fist thing, I mean, okay, put it this way. If Netflix was still going on, right, with The Punisher and Daredevil, that would really make a good Netflix series where we're going back and forth and seeing Frank get powers. And I don't like a lot of what Jason Aaron did, but there was some stuff in there because he changed Frank Castle's background or past, which was not good. But he made him a really bad father, which, he made him a bad husband, which is never how he was portrayed ever. So not a lot of people liked that, but there were a lot of people that didn't, and I was one of the people that didn't. But if they took the Frank Castle character from Netflix and they took the Matt Murdock character from Netflix and did this back and forth where they were both building up their own army, and then they fought at the end of the season, that's good stuff. So will this particular ending, no, him going to hell, none of that works. But if you take both of those storylines and stick them together, I think that would be good. So there's my take on that. Too bad Netflix doesn't have the rights to it anymore. Disney has it. I don't think Disney will ever do that. All right, so let's go on to my last Marvel book, Amazing Spider-Man number 122 from 1973. This is a facsimile edition, so it's not real. I think it's going for a few $1,000s. This is the death of Gwen Stacy. So she is dead in this issue, and this is the final battle between Spider-Man and Green Goblin, with Norman Osborn, of course, being Green Goblin. And we see a very different side of Spider-Man here. If I had to read one more word balloon, it says, "You'll pay!" So it is cheesy. You'll pay for that! Yes. So, but Gil Kane does the art on here with Romita, who just died. I'm going to probably try to do a video on Romita. Jerry Conway did the writing, and John Romita did the inking with Gil Kane. But, I mean, this art is so clean. I mean, that is clean artwork. I forgot what some of the Spider-Man stuff looked like back in the day. But, I mean, that's phenomenal. That's the Spider-Man everybody grew up with. I mean, that's just beautiful. There's some really, really good stuff there. So we get this flashback. We get very clean Spider-Man. He tracks down the Green Goblin. So Robbie helps him track him down. He finds the warehouse because he escapes after he kills Gwen Stacy. And, Norman's expecting him to show up. We have J. Jonah Jameson in here. And we have just a big fight scene at the end. That's it. Just a big fight scene. And you're going to see something here a little bit more, something you kind of recognize. So Spider-Man destroys his Goblin Glider, which was called a flyer in this one. It wasn't even called a Goblin Glider back then. But anyway, so Spider-Man just beating the crap out of him. And right before he basically kills him, he says, "I got to stop." I'm going to take you to jail because if I don't, I'm going to kill you. And then we have the glider, which is now destroyed, but the front flap has been pushed down, so it has points. And again, we get the ads from. But look how many ads they had back in the 70s. Why they were so cheap? They can't sell ads anymore. But you'll see this is very familiar if you're familiar with any of the Spider-Man movies. He goes to smack him in the back with the Goblin glider. He never realizes at the last second he dodges out of the way, and the glider impales him. So, and that is the death of the Green Goblin. And this was kind of cool. So we have an epilogue, right? And it's Mary Jane, and he's just pissed off at the world. He tells her to leave, and she goes to leave, but then she closes the door and decides to stay. So I thought that was kind of cool. So that's basically the beginnings of their relationship. And good stuff. So, will it make a good movie or television show? Already has. That whole ending, I think it was in two different Spider-Man movies. With the glider coming in and impaling him, I'm pretty sure that was in the Tobey Maguire movie. I think either that or the most recent one, or both. But yeah, so it was already. See, goes to show you that they are taking the comics and are translating them to a certain degree to screen. So yeah, that one's already been in a film. In fact, I need to look. I haven't watched No Way Home in a while, but I think did he kill her that way? I don't remember. I don't remember if he killed him that way. But there was one movie definitely that they used the glider to impale the Green Goblin or the Hobgoblin or whatever. I can't remember what it was, but they did use that already. But remember, that was created in 1973. And then we took all the way to the 2020s to actually make the film behind it. Incredible. So we'll see. All right, so now we're going to go into My Independence. This is the Madness by J. Michael Straczynski, who I believe did Babylon 5. He did a bunch of other stuff. That's what I remember him doing. So this is a traditional revenge story coming. She has powers. But she's also a thief. She decides that she's going to do one more job, and that's going to end it. So like any kind of thief movie, I'm going to do one more. I'm going to go straight after that. I got my family. I got my husband. I got my kid. I'm just going to make enough money for us to live for a long period of time and not have to worry about money ever. So that's basically how this goes. But there are other superheroes in this thing too. One is working for the government, and they decide that they have to keep everything on the down low. From the government, it says that we're going to keep everything on the down low, so we're not going to do a strike against her. We know where she is. She's in a cabin away from everybody, and they talk one of the superheroes into just dropping a bomb on her. So there's no flight plan. There's no trail from an exhaust or anything. It's just a flying superhero just drops a bomb on him. And she has one power that she can use at a time, so she can either be invulnerable, she can either fly or whatever, but you can't use them all at the same time. Which is interesting, but it's kind of gimmicky. So she ends up being invulnerable as the thing goes, the bomb drops. She goes and puts herself out in the lake, but her husband and kids are destroyed. They're dead. So she goes crazy, and that's where the book ends. And so it's a little bit like, so here's her fighting, and, getting the whatever she was looking for, whatever MacGuffin she was looking for. The artwork in here is really good. So here's her kissing her husband, and then the bomb going off. And, they do some really nice panel artwork about all of the destructions happening and her getting out. And instead of the house, now there's just a big crater. But so, and then here's her just going completely bonkers crazy. So she's basically going to be going up against superheroes and killing them. So it's really like The Boys. So it's a little bit like The Boys. So we'll see where it goes. We'll see if there's anything different that comes in out of it. But right now, there's really nothing new. Would it make a good film or television show? Sure. I mean, there's nothing new out there anyway. So we'll see how it goes with the story, see if he can stick the landing. But from the first issue, it's interesting. You have the other problem is that you have a thief as the main character. So you don't have a narrator that you would particularly like because it's not a hero. So it's got something a little bit negative starting with it. So it's like an anti-hero, a villain becoming a bigger villain, an anti-hero becoming a villain. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't pick this up if they had the. We'll see how crazy it gets with the effects and stuff like that. But yeah, so far so good. We'll see how it goes. All right, Red Sonja. Going into the new Red Sonja by Grunbeck. So he's actually Norwegian to a certain degree. So this is the continuation about the bishop that has these mental powers that he can control people. So we continue in the bar with the fight in the bar, and she tries not to kill some of them, and she has no choice. The artwork on here is really good too. This artist really gets her face. And so she's kicking butt in the bar. Unfortunately, she has to kill some of them, even though she doesn't want to. And she's told that there's a whisper. One of the guys says, yeah, there's a whisper. I was able to fight it, but most of these people are not able to fight it. And the bishop, Red Sonja's got something the bishop needs. So you would think that he wouldn't want to kill her in case she hit it. But he has these disciples that are just going out and killing people, and they have like black marks below their eyes and things like that, which is pretty funny because when they actually confront Red Sonja, she actually points out, you got something on your eye here. So they tell her to run, but she doesn't. She's like, no, you can't. Even the villagers like, you can't stand up against them. And she's like, yeah, I'm going in there anyway. And they start fighting. Some really good sword and sorcery type fight stuff. Really good stuff. Oh yeah, this is where she says you got something on your eye right there. So of course they pulled. Well, I got the innocent, so if you don't put your sword down, I'm going to kill the innocent. So she does. I was kind of hoping for something different there. But look at the facial expressions here, where he's like laughing, and she's like, good stuff. And they wouldn't need her in one piece, so I'm surprised they didn't just lob her arm off or whatever else. But really good stuff. She's like, yeah, you may have me, but ain't gonna be long before I'm gonna have you. So good stuff there. Would make good. I'm really waiting for a new Red Sonja. I think they got a cast, but I think the woman that they cast was the same one that did Ghost in Ant-Man and the Wasp. I like her, but she's not an action hero. She's too short. The same thing they did. I'm going to talk about this too with Rachel Zegler. Trying to be the new J-Law. J-Law is like 5'9". She's an imposing woman. You can't have a 5'2" action star. I mean, I know that Scarlett Jo is kind of short, but they played up on that. They never really showed her kind kind of being short. But all right, last one. Void Rivals by Kirkman, who is the creator of The Walking Dead. This was the series that when it started, we had Jetfire from the Transformers pop up in here. That was the reveal that Skybound ended up getting the license for Transformers and G.I. Joe from IDW, and everybody got excited about that. So there's extra villains in here that I don't recognize from Transformers, that they are in here for any really big Transformer fans. So anyway, this is the enemy mine type of thing where we have two opposing factions that are wearing helmets all the time. They don't realize that they're actually the same species. So we have a male and a female that fought over water because the comet had water on it, and there was a comet coming, and they fought over it, but instead they both crashed on the planet after being damaged. So now they end up they're working together because even though they're enemies, they're working together because they realize they can't get off the planet without helping each other. So they build a smaller ship that is basically like a toboggan because they have to sit, right next to one another. There's not even two seats. It's basically one long seat. So they had this very small ship. They were able to get off the planet, except they get pulled by a beam into like a tractor beam into another ship, and they have a alien there, like a piggish looking alien that says, "Yeah, now you're mine," kind of thing. And then so this continues that where they're now continuing on this alien ship, and they're running into monsters, and they're having to battle these, this big scorpion-looking monster, and then they release another tentacled creature who says, "I'm going to help you get out of here." But the pig creature comes back up and says, "Look, I don't really want to fight you guys. You guys have a ship. I investigated the little ship that you got, and it's made out of a material that I can make a lot of money on. So I'm just going to give you my ship to get out of here. I'm going to take your ship." They're like, "Okay." And meanwhile, the tentacle guy's like, "I thought we had a deal." And he's like, "Nah, we're out of here." And you're kind of screaming anyway. So they start talking as they're on the way to their planet, and the male guy is just like, "No matter what happens, let's just stick together. We can end this war together, blah, blah, blah." And she's like, "I'm betraying my people by doing that." And she betrays him. So the end of this really pissed me off, where I thought they would be together, and instead we had, a backstab. But here's, the scorpion creature that they're fighting, and the artwork is just okay. I'm not really a fan of this style of artwork. And then here's the tentacle guy, and they get off with this is when after they get off the other ship with the ship that the pig guy gives them, and she's having a crisis of conscience about the fact that she feels like she's betraying her people. And I think he's a prince and she's a princess, but they didn't really talk about that. So they live in the same area because it's split down the middle. So that might be us eventually here, Democrat, Republican. So that's that. But then she's like, I'm not feeling this, so I'm gonna betray you. She says, "Good luck," and she says, "You'll need it more than me." And then she apologizes. Traditional woman. I'm going to mess you up, and then I'm going to apologize about it after. So, will it make a good film and television show? Void Rivals. So far, yeah. This is, I thought it was all going to stay on the planet, kind of like Enemy Mine, but they haven't. They've really pushed this. And if it's going to be 6 issues, and we're only 3 issues in, and we've had all these twists and turns, yeah, this will make a really good, Kirkman knows how to be cinematic. He does. So, let's talk about the ones that, we can't talk about Amazing Spider-Man because that was already made. into a thing. But Void Rivals, so all pretty much all the independents, and all right. So first on my list, World's Finest. This should have been a movie. Should have been how Batman and Superman were done in a film. It wasn't. Waiting for a movie on this one. It should be a movie. Void Rivals. Yep, so far so good. And The Madness. Yeah, that's a maybe, depending on how the story goes. But again, it's pretty good. But anything Marvel that I had outside of Spider-Man that was already made into a film, there's nothing there. I don't know what they're doing. So things like they've already messed up Secret Invasion now. I don't know what they're doing. I really don't. So let me promote my own stuff here real quick. So Tales of Ravenor, The Iron Witch, available at DestinyAurora.net or on Amazon. I'll put a link below to my own thing. In fact, I think I have to add that. I'm going to put that up on Amazon so you guys can find it. And Lords of LA, I'm going to be working on the Kickstarter for this generally soon, so look for that within the next couple of months. I did get a job in Michigan on a film, so I'm going to be heading out for a couple of weeks out there next month. But anyway, remember to like and subscribe. I am monetized now, thanks to you guys. So let's see how much we can do, so I can start making more and more videos. I'd like to do more on film and entertainment, and so I'm all caught up now on the comic side. Of course, tomorrow is the new stuff comes out, but I'm going to start doing some stuff on film and television. I know I did a short one on Gran Turismo. I might do a longer video on Gran Turismo. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe, and yeah, share it out so that I can get some new subscribers. All right, thanks, guys.